as we explore conversations with unique, interesting, and extraordinarily fierce women who found squeezing lemons and sporting rose-colored glasses as a way to survive, overcome, and thrive through all of life's challenges. Badass women and those in training. May we know them, may we be them, may we raise them. Are you a badass or are you in training? Tune in and let's talk. Buckle up, all you feisty, fearless friends. It's time for another exhilarating episode of the Badass Women and Those in Training podcast. I'm your host, Vickie Nevins, and today we're squeezing lemons and sporting rose-colored glasses with someone whose energy is contagious and whose words pack a punch like no others. Are you ready to embark on an unforgettable ride with the one and only Adriane Johnson? She's a literary sensation, a podcast maven, and an entrepreneur. Today, we aim, she and I, to ignite your fire in your soul and leave you craving for more.
Yes.
And more. Get ready for some everyday, ordinary insights, hilarious fun, and all the empowerment you can handle. This is Badass Women and Those in Training, the podcast that lights the fire under your dreams.
Yes.
Meet my feisty, fearless friend, Adriane. Good morning, gorgeous. How are you today?
Good morning. I am doing absolutely amazing.
Yes, you are. You look fabulous.
Oh, well, thank you. I appreciate that.
Certainly.
So do you.
Thank you. Flattery will get you everywhere. I love your laugh. So
Indeed.
I have a question. I have a big question for you. Are you ready?
Yes.
Are you a badass or are you in training?
I'm a badass. Unstoppable.
So what does being a badass mean to you? And how does that play a role in your message to other women?
To me, being a badass is having that stamina. Sometimes not born with it. You know, we have to gain it and maintain it, and just having stamina to get through those bumps in the road, getting over those hurdles and being grounded in faith. It allows us and help us to become who we are and to know more about ourselves. It just allow us to be girded and get through the things we need to get through.
It takes stamina to keep moving forward. It's persistency and tenacity. I'm sure there are women out here that either feel like a badass or they're aspiring to be. I think they can resonate to that whole idea. And at that moment, you either feel like you have it or like, oh God, I'm so tired.
It's almost like working out, Vickie. You know, we start working out because we want to gain muscle. And it's the same thing with mental stability, having mental stamina. Then we have the willpower and the strength to move forward. Stamina is definitely important.
As a woman and an entrepreneur, what challenges have you faced in building your own business, and how have you, specifically overcome some of these challenges?
Being an entrepreneur, it could be lonely, it could be discouraging. You could feel like things are not moving as rapidly as you would like for them to, and you may want to give up, or you know, some people do give up and they set it aside because they feeling like things are not going as well as they think that it should, or it's just not going at all. I can identify with all of that, and typically what I do is it goes back to the stamina. If it's something that, first of all, you love to do, why stop? I had to realize that things don't always happen in my time, and things don't always go the way that I desire for it to go. So I think once you come to grips with that, you'll be okay. And you got to have that drive, but you just have to know that anything worth having is worth working for. And that's how my mind is set up. I can't give up. I can't stop.
And you know, right after I had my stroke, I kept telling myself, keep moving forward. And I kept saying it, keep moving forward.
It's easy to give advice, but it's not always easy for us to consume that same advice and move forward.
Yeah, sometimes you have to see it, you have to hear it from other people, but whatever it takes that gets you off the sidelines that you mentioned,
that's right,
ignites your drive and lights you up.
There you go.
And if it's not lighting you up, find out what is lighting you up.
You know, every start might not be a good start. And when you start, you may not even really have the motivation. You may have the drive, or you know this is something you want to do, but you don't necessarily have the motivation and to get up and go and to get up and move. You may not have that at the beginning.
But if you find that you don't love it, maybe you need to reconsider your path.
Absolutely. And do something different. Yeah. Because I was always told, if you have a job and you don't love it. No, how does it go? Help me out. If you're doing something that you don't love, no, if you're working a job, how it go, Vickie?
If you're doing something you love, you'll never work a day in your life.
There you go. That part.
That one.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That part.
That's the one. Yeah. Exactly. I agree. That's the one. I'm going to say, wait, I'll Google real fast. Hang on.
Yeah. Yeah. That's why it's important to do what you love, because if you do what you love, you're going to start with that light that you mentioned.
So you sound like a mom. Are you?
I am a mom. I am a mom of 7 children.
So as a mom of 7, you have certainly gained valuable insight on what it's like to raise humans.
But I'll tell you, the hardest thing for me was whenever, because they all graduated and went to college. I had one daughter that went into the military straight out of high school. So one of the harder things for me wasn't raising them, but it was not having them close anymore, because they are grown and they're married and they have children of their own and getting houses built. That was the hardest thing for me, not when they went to college, but when I started seeing them as adults and they wasn't so much dependent upon me. My life was my children and everything was built around them. So when they went their own way, it was challenging for me. I didn't like that.
You just don't look old enough to have 7 kids.
Yeah.
Any
I
grandbabies?
I appreciate that. Yes, I have 5 total. Mm-hmm.
Wow, look at you.
Yeah.
Look at you.
3 boys, 2 girls.
Wow. You're wise and experienced there.
Well, I appreciate that. I tell you, as the young kids say, life be lifing. Life be lifing, and life will teach you some things, whether you want to learn them or not.
That is so true. Life be lifing.
Life be lifing. Yes,
ma'am. That's right. Hang on for the ride. You're laughing.
Yeah. And it will definitely teach you some things.
How did you balance being a mom and being a woman, an entrepreneur? How did you achieve that work-life balance?
Yeah, I think for me, for the most part, I was a stay-at-home mom. That's what I preferred. As they grew older to teenagers, I was an entrepreneur. And I tried to involve them as much as possible. I wanted time with them, so I had to balance my work schedule. And that's a good thing about being an entrepreneur. You could kind of coordinate your work schedule to accommodate anything else that you have going on. I just balanced it so that I would work while they were in school. And then around the time they got home and dinner time, I was home. I was there with them as well. And I was able to see them off at school and that type thing. But that's pretty much how I balanced everything.
I have loved being a mom. Yes. I loved having my kids at home. I loved every minute of it.
So did I. That's why it was so hard for me to detach myself and reinvent myself, because I was that mom. You know, I was the mom that said I was going to have this big house and everybody was going to be grown living with me. So just imagine how I felt when they not only went off to college, but graduated, grown, and started living their lives with their families and such. So yeah, that's why I say it was hard.
Oh, I bet. Yes. For me, I had my kids, I started having babies at the age of 35. So I was an older mom. Mm-hmm. I knew at being an older mom, when I started having kids, I had to make them self-sufficient in case something happened to me before they were grown. And so helping them learn how to be independent. And they're very, very independent now that they're adults. Mm-hmm. I mean, they really took the lesson. But yeah, I loved the milestones. I taught them to enjoy the milestones coming up.
Yeah. You know, to piggyback off what you said, as far as raising them to be independent, I did the same thing, and I had to think about that one day. They're so independent. I'm like, do I want to give myself a pat on the back, or do I want to just be like, you should have pulled back some? But no, I'm grateful that they are independent and self-sufficient. I really am, because they are absolutely amazing.
Can you share some of your favorite strategies or tools for personal growth or self-improvement that you've learned over the years? What's helped you grow?
First of all, identifying yourself and identifying who you are. Second of all, I would say take an observation of mistakes, things that you've done in life, instead of looking at them as regrets. Take observation of them and evaluate yourself. And I say, okay, what could I have done different? What did I do to cause this? If that's the situation. So self-identity, knowing who you are, taking observation of your past. Sometimes it's okay to look back, as long as you're not remaining back there, but it's good to look back for growth, and taking self-evaluations daily.
I agree. Accepting where you're in that honesty of where you really are, and accepting
That's
others
right.
where they are, and not
That's right.
taking it as a personal or an emotional attack. It just is where it is.
That's right.
And understand that you can get through anything.
But I feel like if you want to be better and do better, because emotions, they always say don't react off your emotions, because they change so much and they fluctuate. Maintaining emotions is very, very important. I should have added that as well. And I've taught my kids that, to know who you are and to definitely maintain your emotions, have control of your emotions. So controlling emotions is very important, especially if we want to do better and be better as a person. I think that if we accept accountability, then it'll be easier for us to move forward. But I think taking accountability is number one. Some people don't take accountability because of whatever reason. But I think taking accountability of your emotions, taking observations of what those emotions cause or how they allow you to act, you just put that all together, become a better person.
That's right. That's very true. I mean, it's so true.
Yeah.
It's something that you have to keep pouring into yourself, invest in yourself to learn how to control your emotions. Once you take responsibility and own your space,
yes,
it's so much easier to be accountable for your actions. Yeah,
yes.
I screwed up there. I could have done this better. Or, how can I learn better from that?
Mm-hmm. I think the number one reason for a person not having accountability or accepting responsibility is a bit of pride. That's my opinion. I think it's a bit of pride for whatever reason. I think it's a bit of pride.
Sprinkle some more of that insight on there. Say that again.
I think the reason people don't take accountability and are responsible for their actions is because they are prideful. They have a bit of pride. Definitely. Because if you lay pride aside, then that leads to what? Humility, being humble. And a lot of us don't. And sometimes men, they feel like if they're humble, they're not a man. They're not manly. I'm not going to say they're not a man. They're not manly.
It shows weakness in their mind.
It shows weakness. It shows weakness, but they don't know that a lot of women love a man that's humble and a man that shows and demonstrates humility, because it sets away pride. And I know, and it's a true fact, that there's no competition against pride. You can't compete against pride. If it's your husband, if it's your wife, and they're prideful, you can't compete against pride.
So, there's no place for anything else.
Exactly.
There's no room.
Exactly. Because why? They're not taking accountability. They're not being responsible for their actions. And typically a person that's prideful, nothing is their fault. The blame is always on someone else. There's no competition against pride.
All I can do is say, yeah, preach it, sister, preach it. So what does it mean to become a better person?
I like what you said. And when you said to pour in yourself, I'm going to use that. I like that. Continue to pour in yourself. I love that. So, yeah, to pour into yourself, to invest in yourself, not material, not tangible things, not being materialistic, but to pour in yourself knowledge, to pour in yourself, golly, self, just doing self-evaluation and just working on self to become a better person. Because what happens is it just goes on to the next person. And whether people realize it or not, when you become better, you pay it forward. You paying it
So
forward,
true.
just being you, just being who you are, you're paying it forward. Because why? If you're doing self-evaluations on yourself, you have humility, you're not prideful and all the other things that we mentioned. You have integrity, you have discipline, you have stamina, you have a foundation. And your foundation is everything that you're building on, all these good things that we mentioned prior. That's your foundation. And if that's you and that's your integrity and that's your built, you're talking about a foundation. So if that's your built, then what? That's who you are. So whoever you talk to, whoever you network with, whoever you become more acquainted with you with that foundation, with all that, you're only paying it forward. You're only paying it forward in hopes that something has came across for somebody to take accountability and say, you know what? I want some of what she had, or I want to do what she's doing. And when you have that mentality and you have that mindset and that built, for the most part, you're in a good mood. You're smiling more. So you're paying it forward, walking in the grocery store. Hey, how are you? Because that's me. Hey, how are you? How was your day? That's me. Because of me pouring into myself.
I knew I was going to love you from the get-go. I had no idea how similar we were. I'm always pouring into others. When I see people, I smile and I say, hey, how are you? Pouring into people by just walking down the grocery aisle or any place and smiling and saying hi to them.
Yes.
And then complimenting them. Lord have mercy. If we could change the world by just saying, I love your shirt, I love your smile, and I do love your smile. You have a great laugh and your eyes are fabulous. I mean, if people told us that, how would we feel? We'd feel like pouring into others on a daily basis. I look for women who are smart and that I know will lift me because I'm going to lift them. And that way we will have an investment in each other.
There's nothing more amazing than to be able to talk, converse, be who you are, be yourself, pouring into someone, and then they're pouring back into you. There is nothing more amazing than that.
There's nothing more to say to that. That is it. I mean, that's it. I mean, really. I mean, when we own our space, pouring into others and they're pouring into us, that's what makes you a badass, is that you're able to give to others and you're able to stand your own and help lift others in that whole process.
Yes, absolutely. They say when a lot of women get together, there's jealousy and envy and backbiting and all this stuff going on. It doesn't have to be that way. It's according to who you surround yourself with.
What part of the United States are you located in?
I am in North Carolina.
I do women's leadership conferences and I'm taking them on the road, and I'm doing one in Atlanta. I'd love to do one in your area and have you be a part of it.
Yeah, that would be amazing. That'd be fun. I would love to.
Yeah. And maybe you'll come to my one in Atlanta.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely.
We will have so much fun, because if we're not having fun, why are we doing it? It's not all about fun, but I mean, I have worked hard to get where I'm at today so I can have fun on my terms.
Right.
I mean, I work 3 days a week and people go, how do you do that? I worked hard. I work Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Now, do I do other stuff on the other days? If I want, or if I need, but that's my decision.
I think that's quite amazing. And that's that's a part of what make you a badass. Okay. Yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely.
it is. You're right.
Absolutely. Yeah.
You know, setting those boundaries for me and anybody else that I work with
Mm-hmm.
helps so much. And now when I'm doing a women's conference, of course we do it on a Saturday, but I choose to do that. But then I make up for it and take off some other days that I normally would be working.
Mm. But you know
You
what I
know,
like about what you just said? And,
yeah.
the only thing I hear is what you choose to do. That's amazing. You're dictating your own path, the way you are maneuvering. That's amazing. That's
Thank you.
amazing. Yeah,
Thank you very
that's
much. I
amazing.
appreciate that. Thank you
Mm-hmm.
for pointing that out. I appreciate that. Those
Yeah.
choices are definite choices. And it took me a while to get there. I mean, it really
Mm-hmm.
did. And I teach that. I teach women first starting in direct sales. Let that phone machine answer. That's your virtual assistant. Let it take your messages. You don't have to
Mm-hmm.
jump and answer it every time it rings.
Yeah.
You don't have to answer a
That's
door if
exactly
somebody's
right.
knocking.
That's exactly right. It brings me to something else that I go by is everything does not need your attention. It may be an attention seeker, grabber, or something you know could pay attention to or gravitate to, but is your attention really needed? No, your attention is not always needed. Whether it's a situation, circumstance, whatever it is, leave it be, leave it where it is. You know, that's something else
Absolutely.
that I go by. Because sometimes we'll gravitate to stuff that didn't call for us. We paying attention to it because that's what we want to do, but it's not calling for it. It could do without us. You know what I mean?
And
And we
that's right.
gravitate to it, and now it's something else we're concerned about, worried about. It could be somebody calling you that's always calling, is stressed out, and no matter how much you talk to them, they're still in this oh woe is me mindset and still doing what they want to do and handling things like they want to handle it. That phone ring, no. Mm-mm. Your attention does not have to go there, because the bottom line is you've shared, you've talked, you poured out, and you're still doing the same thing. You want my attention, but I can't do that. I have to continue to pour in myself. I'm trying to pour into you. You're not gravitating to anything that I'm saying. You're not trying to change your storyline. You're not trying to change anything. So that phone ring, I don't care what it is or who it is. That phone ring is just gonna ring because
We have
mm-mm.
voice.
Exactly. We have voicemail. We have voicemail. And
And
I
we have
think
text voicemail.
being a badass, you have to really be careful as to the things you pay attention to and the things you get yourself entangled with, and you have to pay attention to that, because being a badass takes some direction and focus.
Takes a lot of energy too.
It takes a lot of energy. It really does. It really
And
does.
if you
So
know where you're going, then you have to surround yourself with people that you know will pour into
absolutely.
you and that will also be on that path of they're doing the same thing as they're going. They know where they're going. And so knowing
Absolutely.
who you can lock arms with or shoulder to shoulder or,
Absolutely.
you know, people that invest in, reciprocating.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I'm tired of one-way streets. I mean, I can
Yes.
drive on a one-way street, but please,
Yes.
I would rather.
Yes. Absolutely. My point exactly. Yeah, being a badass takes some work.
It sure does. It does. And when you surround yourself with people that know who you are and admire you where you're at and
Yes.
lift you to go further into that,
Yes.
it's like, they feel me.
Exactly. Exactly.
And
My point exactly.
what's one actionable step that our badass women and those who aspire to be, what can they do right now to take a start on their journey towards being a better version of themselves?
I don't know the religion of everyone that may be listeners that's going to listen. I say pray and ask for direction from your higher power. pray, ask for direction, and pray to be in alignment with his will. And that's pretty much what I do to sum it all up.
So how do you envision the future growth? What do you see as your vision? I mean, you're writing, you're podcasting, you're creating. What's 2024 look like for you?
2024 for me, because I'm working as well, I'll be pretty much working more on making passive income. My goal is to build the businesses and make money that way while inspiring and uplifting people, because everything that I put out is to inspire and uplift.
You're
and
taking
I'm
your
looking
mission
to
to where it's more of a financial freedom for you. Yeah. Everybody needs that. You gotta have that financial freedom to be able to pour back into yourself and invest in yourself.
Absolutely.
You can't afford the classes and you can't afford anything if you don't get the financial freedom.
And we all have desires. Everybody desires different. That's just one of mine. So
that car isn't going to run on a smile.
Absolutely not.
What keeps you motivated?
Golly, what keeps me motivated? Oh, that's a good question. First thing is just waking up. I don't want to sound so inspirational, but just having the opportunity to wake up to another day for a new start, a new beginning. That's the first thing. The second thing is I love the things that I do. I like what I'm doing in life. I like where I am in life right now. So that motivates me, because when I get up, I'm ready to start. I'm ready to get something going. Just that simple. And whatever comes after that just comes. I'm ready for it.
I connect people, places, and opportunities. I like creating opportunities for people, helping create whatever they're seeking. So it's fun. It's fun being with smart women because they're all very creative.
Yes, we are all creative in our own way. And I'm glad that you and I have had the opportunity to meet, become acquainted doing this podcast, because we hadn't talked prior to this. But I'm glad that I was allowed this opportunity. So I want to say thank you to you, and it's such a pleasure being here with you.
Thank you so much. Let's leave one takeaway for all these ladies. What can they do today to move themselves toward wherever they're going?
Get up and move. Find out what motivates you. Find out what spikes your interest, what makes you smile, what brings you joy. If it's something that you want to do, get started, get moving, get the information that you need, inquire about it. And then if you don't know what it is you want to do, think about it. What do you like? Find you a niche. Get information about it. Do some research and get up and move and do it. Get something, even if you are working, if you have children, if you're taking care of the elderly, whatever it may be. Set time for yourself and do something that you enjoy, but you got to get up and get moving.
Even if it's only 5 minutes a day.
That's
5 minutes in pouring into yourself, and then 10 minutes, and
That's
then
right.
15. And then
That's
you figure out, it's like, look, I have actually, and then you can look back and see your progress and lift your shoulders up and have that pip in your step. Absolutely.
Yep, absolutely.
Thanks for joining me today, and thanks for joining us today here on the Badass Women and Those in Training podcast. It's been it's been so fun. I cannot wait for us to do a live conference.
Ladies, I'm so excited for that.
Thanks so much. And until our next conversation, Vickie Nevins, your host, Badass Women and Those in Training, squeezing lemons and sporting the rose-colored glasses with all kinds of topics, with all kinds of badass women. Thanks, Adriane.
Yes, you're welcome. Thanks for having me.
You bet. Have a fabulous day. It's been so fun with you.
It has. Such a pleasure.
You bet. Have a great day.
You too. Bye-bye.
Thanks for joining me today for a little fun. It's all about squeezing lemons and sporting rose-colored glasses on all kinds of topics for all of my fabulous, fearless friends. That's it for today. So until our next conversation, this is Vickie Nevins, your host of Badass Women and Those in Training. Real conversations with extraordinarily fierce women and so much more. Thank you for watching. In addition to all of the podcast hosts, you can also find us on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube.